Most people assume they have only two options: use tap water, or buy it. That's it. And for a long time, that assumption feels true, because everything around you reinforces it. You turn on the faucet, or you go to the store. There's no third option. But eventually, something doesn't sit right. Not immediately, gradually, because the more you rely on those two options, the more their limitations become visible. Tap water raises questions: quality, taste, consistency. Even if nothing looks wrong, there's always a small doubt. And bottled water? It solves that doubt, temporarily, but introduces new problems: cost, effort, dependency. So now you're stuck between two imperfect choices. And that's where frustration builds. Because something as basic as water shouldn't feel like a compromise. So naturally, people start asking a different question: what if I could change it myself? At first, that idea sounds unrealistic. Because water feels fixed. You don't modify it. You use it. That's the belief. And it's strong. Because most people have never seen an alternative. But then, they come across something. A filter. A system. A method. And suddenly, the idea becomes possible. Not easy, but possible. So they explore. Some start with basic filters. Something simple. Attach it to the faucet. And for a moment, it feels like control. But then reality sets in. Limited capacity. Maintenance. Replacement cycles. It helps, but doesn't fully solve the problem. Others go deeper. They look into more advanced systems. Under-sink units. Multi-stage filtration. And while these offer more control, they come with complexity. Installation. Cost. Technical understanding. So again, hesitation. Because the solution starts to feel heavy. And that's the pattern most people experience. Every attempt to change water at home feels like trading one problem for another, until something shifts. Because eventually, people stop asking, what's the best system? And start asking, what's the simplest way this can actually work? That's the turning point. Because the real issue isn't whether you can change your water. It's whether you can do it in a way that fits your life. Without constant maintenance. Without high costs. Without complexity. And that's where interest in simpler approaches starts to grow. Not industrial systems. Not expensive installations. But small, repeatable setups. Things that feel accessible, understandable, manageable. Because for most people, control only matters if it's practical. The real issue isn't the water itself. It's the gap between knowing there's a problem and finding a solution that actually feels doable. And once that gap starts to close, everything changes. Because now, instead of choosing between limited options, people start creating their own. If you're curious how some of these simpler approaches actually work in practice, there's a structured breakdown in the description that explores it step by step. And if you're interested in content that breaks down everyday problems like this in a more realistic and practical way, consider subscribing. Because once you realize you can change small things, you start rethinking everything.